Billy back here with Broship of the Nerds, and today we are back with another book review, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Now, I had heard about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder coming to Netflix as a limited series, and I thought, okay, before that comes out, let me get the book. Now, typically, I do prefer seeing the show or the movie first just because I'm less critical on the show or the movie that way and end up enjoying it more. But in this case, since it was a mystery, I wanted to know who and why and all of that before I got the show to see if I could pick up on any hints they were given. And so far, I'm 2 episodes in, and while they make some changes, and I will get into that into the show review, there's still a lot that they follow from the book. So I picked this up because, and I found out it was a series; it wasn't just like a one-off. So I picked this book up, and I, like Pip Fitzamobi, the main character, became obsessed with the Andy Bell case. And the basic premise is Andy Bell went missing 5 years ago in a small town where nothing really usually happens. And they think the boyfriend did it and then killed himself. But 5 years later, Pip decides to re examine the case for her senior project. Now, they call it two different things between the book and the show, so you have to pick up on that. But Pip is a really cool character, and she becomes like her own detective, right? Because the police already said this is a closed case. She's trying to cast doubt. But there's a lot of things that don't add up. So when you're reading this story, you're going to be going, huh? They really closed this case? So there's a lot of twists and turns and a lot of suspects and a lot of shitty characters. Now, my favorite characters and relationships in the book, Pip, of course, is awesome. She's well written. I like her work. And, it's called Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So just the title made me think it was going to be like how a good girl got away with murder. And I was completely wrong in a pleasant way. But when I read the synopsis on the back, I thought, okay, so she's trying to prove that the boyfriend was actually innocent, and someone in Fairview doesn't want her digging around for answers, and it could put her in danger. So not only is she trying to solve a mystery, she's trying to keep her and her family protected as she does this because somebody does not want her looking back into this case. Very fun book, good mystery. Um, I loved how Pip did this. It's told through both the story and through interviews she does in order to get different leads and try to figure out who did it and why. And like I said, just when you think you know where it's going, something else happened that throws you off. This was a mystery that I could not solve myself. There was just a lot that wasn't adding up, but the people who I suspected weren't it. And like I said, my favorite characters are Pip, Ravi Singh, which is Sal's brother. Sal's the one that, you know, killed Andy, but they never found Andy's body. So it's interesting because he passed the next day. And so Ravi that says, he misses his brother. And at first he's hesitant to talk to Pip, but then Pip, when she tells him in the book, hey, I think he was innocent, then he is more willing to work with her. So I love their like friendship at the beginning and like the hesitancy, but Ravi's a good dude. And then Kara, she is she's Pip's best friend, and I really love the friendship they share. They've been friends since they were 4, and they're best friends, and I really like her as a character too. So Kara Ward is amazing, and Pip's family is awesome. Really like her dad. She called me stepdad, but really her dad with the way he's treated her and raised her. Like he's awesome. And she has a little brother, and then her mom. And her mom is just worried about her. She's that typical like I want to protect you, be careful with all this stuff. And but my favorite three. That's my favorite three right there. is Ravi Singh, Pip Fitzamobi, and Kara Kara. Um, and when I found out Emma Myers was being cast, that made me, because she was awesome as Enid in Wednesday, but I wanted to see what else she could do. So as the book goes, there's a person of interest list, and it changes. People are added, people are removed as it goes, and that I really like. And like I said, there was so much off with the case. I'm very surprised they closed this. That's what makes this a good story. So my first thought was, maybe somebody from the police department was trying to cover it up or protect somebody. And there's just a lot that happens in this book. It's very plot, like fast paced. There's a lot of details, but what I like about it is it doesn't give you 20 pages of here's a 20-page info dump on what the town's like. It gives you bits and pieces as you go through the story, and it's very fast paced. I read this in about a week, and typically I read about a book a month, but I read this maybe a week or so, maybe a few days over. But it was definitely less than 2 weeks, and I just couldn't put it down. Right, I would get home from work, and I'd have to go to bed, and I would read. I'd say, okay, just one more chapter, and then it would end to where I'm like, ooh, what happens next? I'd read another one. Next thing I know, it's 11 o'clock at night, and I need to be up at 5. So I cannot put this down. So I warn you, if you get this book, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, or any book by Holly Jackson so far, I'm on the sequel right now, Good Girl, Bad Blood, you're not going to want to put it down. So make sure when you start this that you either have good self-control or you have some time to kill, because when you put this up, you're not going to want to put it down. Holly Jackson, brilliant. And she is becoming one of my new favorite authors as I read Good Girl, Bad Blood. We'll keep going with her books. I have like 3 more books after this one to read. This is a trilogy plus a prequel. So there's a Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Good Girl, Bad Blood, which I'm reading now, and As Good as Dead. And these books are popular when you go to like Barnes and Noble and other stores and they're sold out, or you have to buy the little paperback. So I went online and ordered the hardback for books 2 and 3, and I've ordered I ended up getting the prequel, and I ended up getting Five Survive, which different book by her. So I'm really liking her work. She is, says here, Holly Jackson, New York Times bestseller, wrote the instant classic Five Survive and the reappearance of Rachel Price. So if I really love these other books, I'm definitely going to be picking up the reappearance of Rachel Price. She graduated from Nottingham University there, and she has a master's degree in English, and she lives in London. So this is a British-based series, well written. I really liked the way she wrote this, and like I said, it's very fast-paced, and it's only like this novel here is 387 pages, and it's clever. Like I said, brilliant, well written, and I really enjoyed reading this. She's one of those authors that I would like to meet just to discuss. Like, she talked about how she came up with this whole thing, but I would love to talk to her and just like pick her brain a little bit, and just because I myself am actually attempting to write a book and I've been overthinking it. I did summarize this in the back of my books. I like to write the date I finished this, so July 17th, 2024. And I like to write either a quote or something I took from it, or how I felt about the book. So I wrote one of the best mystery books I've ever read, and that I'm not lying when I say that. So do yourself a favor, pick it up today, and watch the show on Netflix. And I will be doing it's only 6-episode limited series, so I'm not going to do an episode by episode review, but I will be reviewing A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, the Netflix show starring Emma Myers / Enid. But I'll just say, so far after watching the first 2 episodes, Emma Myers is here to stay. She is a very good actress, and I look forward to seeing future projects with her. That's all I have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. And like I said, I don't want to say too much because I'll spoil a lot of the twists and turns and plot, but I will say you're in for a wild ride when you pick up this book. And I'm hoping to read more like it. That's all I have.